Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? Welcome in, welcome in. It's Monday. Time to talk a little bit about Scream, baby. Ooh, oh yeah. Ooh, baby. I always like to say ooh, baby when I come on to streams, but it's oh yeah today. Call me the Kool-Aid man. I'm so ready. I'm so ready to get into this. It's Scream Monday, ladies and gents, and I'm ready to talk about one of my favorite franchises on here. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. What are we talking about today? Well, there's some interesting rumors going around that Miss Kirby Reed is joining the franchise once again for this new entry. She does take a special interest in Ghostface cases. We established that in the last movie, even though she wasn't there for 5. What's up with that? Maybe she was still training at the FBI during the events of 5, and then like a year later, she's like ready to rock and roll. I don't know. I don't know. But I am excited to see what they end up doing with her. I hope it's good, whatever it is. I hope it's something that would be like worth our time having her in here for sure. But also on top of that, like we established in the last one that she shows up for new Ghostface cases. So where's she at? We got to see something, right? We already have a super chat coming through. Thank you so much. Her is saying, keep up the great work, Jake. Love what you do. Thank you so much. I love you. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thanks for talking a little horror. Really appreciate it a ton. And thank you for the support. You're keeping the lights on around here. So thank you for that. That really does mean a lot. I'm glad you're excited for all the fun stuff we have coming up this week, by the way. We got a lot of crazy new videos on the way. I have a gigantic video going up on the other page, the new page, KillJoy Jake Retro, next week. Same day as VHS Halloween, I'll be talking about VHS 94, my favorite film in that franchise. Really excited for this crazy deep dive I'm working on now. I almost have the script done, and we're going to shoot it hopefully tomorrow. So I'm really excited for you guys to see that video. If you want to see me talk about more movies outside of Scream, Terrifier, Final Destination, hop on over to that page. That's where we're going to be talking about some weirder stuff moving forward. One second. I'm going a little nuts today. I'm going a little completely insano style today, making things happen. So I did not have time to set up the stream, but that's okay. Here we go. 10 super chats. We'll go for another hour. You guys know the drill. Fun stuff, fun stuff. Let's say hi to some folks who are coming in, though, because we got some new people. We got Jacob Wells saying, won't be too long till Scream 7, the trailer drops. You're thinking it's maybe going to be October 10th. I really am still thinking November. Really, that's the next thing, next big like horror-ish kind of thing that Paramount has coming. They have that Regretting You movie and it does have McKenna Grace. So I think there's an argument to say like, oh, the trailer could come with that. But I just feel like different audience, different strokes for different folks and all that. That's that's the trailer for a new like kind of comes off as like a drama kind of flick. Maybe a little bit of romance, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember what it was about. I just saw McKenna Grace in a new Paramount drama movie. It looks kind of sad to what I remember. We could put it in front of that because, same cast member, but I feel like it's probably going to be in front of The Running Man. Like, that just makes a little more sense. It's dystopian, sci-fi, it has a horror edge to it, even though it looks like it's going to be a little sillier of a flick. But it's also Stephen King, so it's like horror fans are going to show up for that, Like, if we showed up for The Long Walk, we're going to show up for that, too. So I imagine Paramount's going to stick a teaser in front of that. Well, no matter what, I think we're definitely seeing the first, like, teaser trailer before that movie comes out. So that's for sure. That's for sure in my mind. We got Paula Fitzhenry saying, okay, true. Chillin', killin'. You know what's up. What's up, Paula? Thanks for being a member. Appreciate you a ton. Eric Zagranis. I love that name, Zagranis. I don't think I'm pronouncing it right. Maybe I am, but it's a really cool name. What's up, Eric? How are you? I love your profile picture. Arthur Claus. What's up, Jake? I'm vibing. I'm chilling out. I'm having a little bit of some health drink because I need it. How are you, my friend? Thank you for being a member. Thanks for being here. What's up? What's up? We got another 5 coming in from Kevin Alexander. What's up, Kevin with a Y? Love it. How are you doing, Kevin? Saying, hey, Jake, what do you think Kevin Williamson's different? We're talking about all kinds of Kevins today. What do you think his directing will look like? Any expectations on his style? Also, any little crumbs on the third act? I can't give you any little... Here's what I'll say. Pretty much all the crumbs that I have about the third act, someone else has put out there at this point. I thought I was all cool, and I thought I was all like, oh, I know this thing that no one else knows, but pretty much it's out there at this point. What I will say about Kevin Williamson's directing style, I really don't know. I feel like I don't know what we're in for with this one. He's only directed one film before, and that's Teaching Miss Tingle. He's written quite a bit, but I've said it before, and I will say it again: directing and writing are two very, very, very different jobs. Directing is translating a script to the screen. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like a director is the visionary, where like the writer is the person laying the groundwork, if that makes sense. So I feel like it's two very different jobs, and sometimes it's tough to transition from one to the other. So it probably was a challenge for Mr. Williamson, and I'm gonna try to go easy on him with this movie. I'm gonna be honest. I love him and I love his writing, but I'm not expecting this to be like the most perfectly directed film. And for that reason, I think that he's likely going to be emulating Mr. Craven, like maybe trying to think back to what Wes was doing on the set of a lot of these flicks, because I feel like he's the master of horror. If I'm Kevin Williamson, I'm thinking I worked very close with that guy for a long time. Ask myself, what did Wes do in a lot of these situations? So I'm hoping that that was going through his head. I know it was, and I'm hoping that he was able to direct this film in a way that makes it something that, again, just translates to screen better for fans. That's a big thing that I think people want from this film. They want an inkling of Wes in the flick. You know what I mean? I think that Radio Silence's style is just so different, so much more modern, and people didn't like that about the last two flicks. I think that's why people truly weren't as crazy about 5 and 6. Not everybody, but some folks. I mean, they're like the best reviewed Scream films. They're up there. You know what I mean? But but yeah, I feel what people are longing for in the franchise is they want the old school methods being approached again. And I feel like this is probably going to be that film. I feel like this is probably going to be that movie, for better or for worse, whichever way, shape, or form. And I hope it rocks, dude. I hope it's good. I just put out a video talking about like 10 things I want to see in Scream 7. And I made a very big point to say that we can't judge movies based on things they weren't going for. And I made this point in two different regards. If we're talking about Scream 5, for instance, which is a movie that I don't feel like was trying to tell a real, big story regarding the legacy characters. And a lot of people criticized it, saying they were like, well, Jake, Dewey and Gail and Sydney, they didn't get really, crazy plot lines. They were kind of pushed to the side. And I feel like that was kind of the point of that film, to set up new characters. And maybe people weren't into that, but I can't judge that movie based off of what is essentially, and people aren't going to like hearing me say this, but the story arcs of side characters. You know what I mean? I'm looking at that movie based on the new folks. Like, what were they up to in this flick, and what did they bring to the table? But I think with 7 now, Sydney's in the driver's seat again. She's hopefully going to be our main character and not her daughter. I'm hoping that with that, they also bring the old style back. You know what I mean? If this is going to be a true return to form, you have to have chase scenes again. You have to have just the old school style approach. Shoot it in the same way. You bring the same kind of music back. Marco Beltrami's back. You know what I mean? We're already seeing inklings of the old ways being implemented into this new flick. And I'm really hoping that it's a best of both worlds kind of scenario. We take the things about 4, 5, and 6 that maybe some fans saw as improvements, little things here and there, and then we kind of try to reclaim some of the stuff that maybe was lost in translation from 3 to 6, essentially. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens with the flick. I'm hoping it's a best of both worlds scenario, where it's like we have more brutal kills, but we still have those like intense chase sequences that go on for a little while, and have meaning. You know what I mean? I feel like there's too little chase scenes in these new flicks that really have a whole lot of definition, or have a whole lot of like purpose. Especially if you go back to like CC Cooper's chase scene is like my favorite in the whole franchise. I feel like that's just so well done, the way it's laid out and set up. Can we do something like that, but also end it with like a more modern and brutal kind of, Ghostface ripping someone's guts out kind of thing? I'm really hoping for that with this flick. I'm hoping they've accomplished that. Because I said it, replied to a comment saying this recently. I said, look, I know it's Scream and it's not exactly known as the goriest slasher franchise, but if you want to disappoint a modern slasher audience, don't put gore or blood in your movie. I mean, like, at this point, it's just an expectation, no matter where you're at in a franchise. You have to have blood, you have to have guts, you have to have creative kills, or people are going to turn away. There's a million slasher movies at this point. Like, dude, I mean, you can't just have a whole movie of stabbing someone in the throat or something. That's where slasher films go to die nowadays. You might have been able able to get away with that in the 80s, but we've seen that by now. You know what I mean? Everyone has seen that kind of movie at this point. We need some more brutal kills. We need more brutal kills to up the ante each time. And if they don't do that here in Scream 7, we might turn some people away. Just saying, man. I feel like the chase is more important than the kill itself, but you have to have those brutal kills to end it off, man. So really hoping they were able to find a way to do that. Kevin, thank you for the 5 again, though. Sorry about the total tirade. Sorry about the rant. Sorry about the tirade there. I couldn't help myself. I was too excited. Faith Dorn is saying, hey, Jake, hey, Chad. Hope everybody is having a great Monday. It's officially fall, y'all. I love it. My favorite time of year, let me tell you. I'm so glad it's fall because I need this time of year in my life. Summer is too damn hot. I don't do well in heat. I love when it's just like a little bit of crispness in the air. I don't feel like I'm sweating 24/7. It's awesome. But it's good stuff. I'm loving the weather right now. I'm loving seeing leaves slowly hit the ground. It's the best time of year. I want to put on a horror movie 24/7. Like I'm at the point where I'm like, I don't want to talk movies right now. I just want to sit down and watch movies. But it's great, man. I can't complain. It's awesome stuff. Definitely want to put on some spooky movies at some point. Really haven't had a chance to do much of anything in the last couple of months here. So want to watch some scary movies at some point. Let's make it happen. Mr. Go Animator. Hey, Jake. Hey, Mr. Go Animator. Pat and Jester. What's up? What's up? How are you? I'm fantastic. How are you? Welcome in, my friend. Thank you for being here. Gory Tiger's with us. Yo. King Matthew III, my liege. I kind of think Kirby's going to die in Scream 7 if she's in it. I don't think she's going to have a big role considering she was announced to be in the film after the movie was filmed. Well, and also, it wasn't even an official announcement. So if you're like, why is everyone talking about Kirby all of a sudden? What's going on with this? There was a new EW article where it mentioned that Hayden Panettiere will be joining Neve Campbell in Scream 7 coming out in 2026. And technically, she hasn't been officially announced. So what's up with that? What's happening there? I don't know. Because then what's interesting is Viewer Anon, who has been right about a ton of stuff regarding Screams 5 and Scream 6. He's the third-party source that I probably trust the most. Came out and said that he hasn't heard anything about Kirby being involved with Scream 7. So if she does have a role in the flick, it's going to be something really small. Maybe like Carla at the end of I Know What You Did Last Summer 2025, for instance. Like maybe we're setting something up with her. And, the rumor has it, because Kevin Williamson has said this in the past about he really wanted to do a cliffhanger for a Scream movie. So a lot of people are theorizing we're finally going to get that here in Scream 7, moving into a Scream 8. There's a few little crumbs and clues regarding that. I'm not 100% sure. But what I will say is that if they do something like that, it could be Kirby showing up just real quick at the end saying like, oh man, I'm here to help. Maybe I don't know why she has a knife in her hand. Maybe she's Ghostface. But but I'm imagining she has a weapon in her hand. Maybe the TV from the last movie. She's just got like palm in it, ready to launch it in Stu's face or something, so... Also, for the Stu fans out there, I feel bad. I make fun of you guys all the time. So here's here's a shirt for y'all. I'm wearing a Stu Train shirt just for you guys today. So rock on. Stu Mocker, baby. He's alive. He has superhero TV powers. No, I kid. I jest. Eric Zagranis, thank you for the $2, my friend. Got to meet DHT at Silver ScreamCon last week. Oh my God. I would have killed to have been there, dude. The Terrifier people were there. Matthew Lillard was there. If I'm not mistaken, Rhea Ripley got like her head sawn off by Art the Clown there, which is pretty damn cool. So you got to see a bunch of cool stuff, man. I'm crazy jealous. I hope you had so much fun. And David is a great dude to meet. He is just a blast. He's a real life cartoon character. I mean, he's just so wholesome, so funny, consistently in a great mood. It was really funny. One time I was at Horror Hound down in Cincinnati a few years ago, and I'm just standing there talking with some folks, whatever, and David Howard Thornton brushes past me. And I couldn't help myself but just be like, "What's up, David?" And he turns around and he's just like that, finger guns towards me, like so excited, just off the cuff. He's always ready. You gotta appreciate something like that. It's great. So David is amazing. I'm so glad you got to meet him. A really cool dude. Eric, thank you for the $2, my friend. I hope you had a blast at Silver ScreamCon. I really want to get out to that one. That's Ice Nine Kills. That's like their horror convention, if I'm not mistaken. That's pretty damn cool, dude. Having your own horror con, man. Yeah. It's almost like going to SawCon, you know? Anyone going to SawCon next year? Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Luke Kai is saying, Jake, what 2 horror movie franchises do you think would be good if they were a part of the same universe? Man. Okay, hear me out on this one. Saw and Hostel are 2 very similar franchises. They get the, you know, it's all about the torture. It's all about the blood and the guts and killing people in brutal, vicious ways. But could you imagine if John Kramer went after the dudes running that, you know, running the whole Hostel facility? It's like, hang on, let me do this off the cuff here. Trying to think of the Jigsaw trap, how they would do this. You take money from strangers, from billionaires who want to kill innocent people. That's wrong. Now you will. I'm trying to come up with this off the top of my head. But can you see what I'm pitching right now? Like, could you see Jigsaw putting all these people in the traps because they were running this really fucked up scheme? I think that would be such a fun collaboration. That's something I've thought about a few times watching both those movies. Both movies, by the way, they got popular around the same time, part of the same big era of horror. I feel like that would fit just so well, like in each other's universes. That might be kind of cool. So that's a really good question, my friend. I like that. I would want to see those 2 together because I think that could be a crazy, you know, merging when worlds collide kind of event. Let's hope that we also just heard from Tobin Bell, that he's wants to be in the next like 20 years of Saw films. I don't know if you guys heard that or not, but that is the most like wonderful thing I've ever heard in my life. Like go Tobin Bell. That's awesome, man. I really hope he's with us for at least the next 20 years. That would be amazing. Nothing would make me happier than that. But he wants to be in whatever the next Saw thing is. He's down for it. He was also at I believe Horror Hound, actually. Funny that I brought that up. I believe he was at Horror Hound weekend a couple weeks ago, and he said something about that. So very cool stuff. Would love to see that happen for sure. Gina's with us. What's up? What's up? I believe we're doing the Lethal Collective tonight. At 7 over on the Nightwatch Zone's channel. I'm not 100% sure though, because I know a few of the guys said they weren't going to be able to make it, so it may only be 50% of the collective. So I'm not sure if that's still happening, but if it is, go over to the Nightwatch Zone channel tonight. It'll be at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and we'll be talking probably more about Scream, if I'm being honest. So stop on by. ADHD Drummer, what's up, my friend? How are you? Welcome in, welcome in. Wrestling God is also hanging out with us. Yo, yo, yo. Kyle Gordon saying, good afternoon, Jake. Have you seen Night of the Reaper on Shudder? It was good. Have a great birthday this week. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm going to put that on as soon as I have some time, because that's one I've been dying to watch. Had a few people recommend it to me. I'm going to try to get some weird reviews out this week. I'm going to have an early review for the Justin Long horror film Coyotes soon. I got a screener for that, which I'm going to watch late tonight. But hopefully, maybe I can put out some more review videos. I want to start doing some weirder stuff. I'm doing a lot of Scream, a lot of Terrifier, and you know, that's great. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like I got to break it up every now and then, or you know, people might get sick of just talking about the same thing. So I'm going to have some weird reviews to kick off the week this week, which I think is going to be fun. So getting into some of that stuff. So For Misery Gaming, did you see the reviews from Fantastic Fest for Strangers Chapter 2? Seems as bad as the first. I've heard it's somehow worse, which I didn't think was possible. How could you make a worse film than The Strangers Chapter 1? I don't know, Fort Misery Gaming. People are saying that, you know, while the first one basically copy and pasted entire sequences and scenes from the other two movies, this one is just straight up boring. Like, there's just not a whole lot of fun. I'm hearing the middle hour, there's no action. Like, the strangers aren't even there killing people for the middle hour. What? This is supposed to be the movie that says, okay, you had to sit through the setup of one. Now here's the action. Here's the horror. Like, dog, if this movie's boring, this trilogy is already doomed, but it's beyond doomed if this movie is boring and sucks. I don't know. I'm so frustrated with this whole trilogy, man. It's such a fundamental misunderstanding of what makes The Strangers work. I don't know, dude. I am going to be seeing it this week. You guys voted in a poll today asking if you wanted to see a review video of it. So yes, I will be covering it hopefully on Friday. And I'm scared. I'm terrified, if I'm being honest. Kevin Alexander with another super chat. Thank you for the 2, dude. Appreciate it. I'm hearing this will be Sydney's most intense story yet. I hope so. I hope it is. To me, it's kind of hard to make an intense Sydney story at this point. You know, we've heard from, you know, Nev Campbell, Kevin Williamson now, that we're never going to kill this character. And for me, like, I understand it's Scream. You know, I wouldn't want to kill Sidney Prescott, but I want there to be the chance that she could. Does that make sense? Like, if you come out and tell me in your slasher movie that your main protagonist is not going to die, that sucks all the tension out of a film. Like, if I'm the director of a new upcoming slasher flick, I would literally never say that. I would literally never say that there's a character in this that person won't die. You can kind of predict how the end is gonna be now. You know what I mean? I can predict how this whole thing's gonna wrap up. So I don't want Sidney to die because I feel like that would be going against a lot of what has been set up with this franchise. But the possibility needs to remain. Otherwise, there's no tension. There is no tension. There's no intensity. So I really hope that but again, with that though, that's out there. That's out there that Sidney's not going to die in a Scream film. So how do you build tension with this character? How do you make that happen? Well, you got to get creative. So, you know, for me, I think where you take this is we have Sidney as kids, Sidney as family members. We put these characters in peril throughout the flick. I don't even want to see Sidney getting chased around in the flick. There's no point. There's no point to having Sidney getting chased by Ghostface at this point. Why would you even do it if she's not going to die? I think what you do is you have the chase scenes revolve around Isabel May's character, Sidney's daughter, Sidney's husband, for instance. Maybe we were hearing that he's a police officer because he's assuming the role of the Mark Kincaid part, you know? So what do you do? You know, what do you do to make all this happen? You chase around these characters. You put their lives in peril so that we're ruining Sidney's happily ever after. We can't kill her, but we can potentially kill her family members. And that might be worse than death. So I think we got to look at it like that. I think that's the way we have to approach this film. And I'm really hoping that's what they've done because Kevin Williamson has recently stated, very, very, very recently stated in a brand new publication that we will not kill Sidney Prescott. So to me, that's a ballsy statement. Is what I think about that. I think that's a ballsy statement because that's telling me that we're going to build tension in a totally different way than what we've done in the past. And I guess that's kind of what I want from a Scream film, though, at this point. I don't want them to do the same thing over and over and over again. That's just boring. So I'm hoping that they are able to find a new way to build tension, new people to chase around, you know, and new ways to torture Sidney, essentially. So that's the way to do it, in my opinion. But dude, thank you for the 2. Really appreciate you a ton, my friend. Thank you for the support, Kevin. Thank you, thank you. David Primero throwing 5 out there too. Thank you, David. Happy Monday. Happy Monday to you, my friend. I love fall and winter weather. I couldn't agree more. I wish I could take out summer from the list. I'm so David, you and I, we're temperature buddies is what we are. We like I love the cold. I strive in the cold. I recently had my fiance say, Jake, you know, our power bill is going to go up when winter comes along because you're going to have the heat on all day. And I'm like, no, the fuck I'm not. I will take the cold. Here's the thing. In the cold weather, you can always put on another layer. When it's hot outside, there's nothing, you're just sweating. You're just gonna be a miserable ball of sweat and stink. You know what I mean? Like in the wintertime, I can just put on a hoodie when I'm making my videos, chilling in this room. This PC, dog, is chugging right now. I don't know if you can hear it, but it is hot potato in this room right now, dude. And I got the AC on and everything, but it is I still got sweaty pits. I won't, just trust me on that. I don't want to show you because it's kind of gross, but yes, sorry about the rant. Have I seen Cobweb from Netflix? If you're talking about the 2023 film, I absolutely have seen that one. And it's a banger. You want to talk about an underrated October release? Oh, baby. Oh, mwah, chef's kiss, dude. Cobweb rocks so hard. It rocks so many balls you don't even know. This is a movie that is criminally underrated because for whatever reason, the studio decided to release this one for like a weekend in the theaters in the middle of July. Fuck that. It's too hot. No way. This is a movie that has the fall aesthetic down too. The storyline, which I won't get into because I don't want to spoil anything. This is a great movie to go into just totally blind. It has such a fall aesthetic to it. There's a bunch of rotting pumpkins in the backyard of the house where this takes place. It literally is set in fall. It's literally set around the Halloween season. And we have some great actors in this one too. If it's Anthony Starr from Homelander, from The Boys, and Lizzie Kaplan, who's in like everything. She's awesome. She's in a bunch of like Seth Rogen comedies, and that's where I know her from, but I know you guys might recognize that name from other things. But she's an amazing actress. Love her to death. And she's great in that. Both her and Anthony Starr, just amazing in this flick. If you have not seen it, guys, it's the perfect time of year to put it on. Put on Cobweb. This is an excellent, criminally underrated movie that deserves a little more love. Why a studio would drop that thing in July? Watch that thing and tell me tell me if it's a good idea to drop that in the middle of the summer, where blockbusters are prominent. It makes no sense. It makes me want to punch a hole in the wall, if I'm being honest. Because that movie would have been like an original horror hit otherwise. It has a melt your face twist, like a holy shit kind of twist that you won't see coming. A few of them, actually. There's two in there where it's just like, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened. But it's great. No Walk 420. Hang on, before we get to this. David, thank you for the 5, though, my friend. I love that. Love that movie. Very good stuff there. Thank you for the 5. Thanks for supporting the page. Joshua Baker saying thoughts on A24 getting the rights to the Texas Chainsaw series. I'm excited for it, honestly. I don't want a series from Texas Chainsaw. I would much rather have a new movie. But A24, their whole thing is we're going to start off with a series and then get into a movie for some reason. I don't know why. I don't get it. It seems like they're interested in making some sort of Jason movie, but they're starting off with this prequel series. Maybe it's like kind of to dip their toe in the water. They haven't really, tackled new IP before. This is kind of their first foray into all of that. Into like bigger, less indie style releases. So I think with A24 not only having the rights to some of Jason's stuff and also some of, well, actually all of Texas Chainsaw now, it seems like they're, just slowly dipping their toe into the pool of bigger IP and trying to figure out how to navigate it. But to me, it's like, it's A24, man. They know what the fuck they're doing. Just rip, just go, just make it happen. They haven't done too much wrong, in my opinion. I've really loved the majority of the time when I see the A24 logo before a flick, I'm usually in love with what I'm seeing. It's very rare where I'm not crazy about a new A24 flick. So I'm excited to see what they do with it. I hope it's good, and I hope they also get to do the movie that they're talking about. No Walk 420 was saying happy endings in horror movies are whack. I think that if you're trying to make a horror movie that is genuinely scary, something that is genuinely going to frighten your audience, sit with them for a long time, you simply cannot have a happy ending. I feel like it is sacrilege if you want to try to make a genuinely scary movie and have it end happy. Because that's the last note that your audience members are going to take away with them before they leave the theater is happiness. That doesn't exactly instill fear, With Scream, it's different. I don't feel like Scream is really trying to scare you. It's more fun horror, and that's okay. Horror doesn't always have to have the objective of trying to scare you. It's more so an aesthetic, that you can just apply to different stories. I mean, shit, there's a ton of different stories that are similar to Scream that don't necessarily have a horror vibe to them. You know what I mean? Or less, maybe more drama than horror, more or less. So I think to me, it's like horror is an aesthetic, sometimes trying to scare you, sometimes trying to be silly, sometimes trying to be campy. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's all kinds of different emotions that horror can instill. But, again, if you're trying to frighten people, it's about some nasty things happening to people. You can't have a happy ending and want to frighten people. That's just my hot take on that, personally. What else is going on? Pat and Jester is saying, I recognize Lizzie from Inside Job. I love Inside Job. I cannot believe that got canceled way too soon, dude. And The Interview, love The Interview too. One of my favorite comedies with Seth Rogen and James Franco. Pretty solid actress and voice actor. A pretty good looking brunette on top of that too. I love Lizzie Kaplan. She's amazing. Very good in all those properties for sure. I love The Interview is like an actual top 10 comedy of all time for me. That no movie just makes me like cry laughing like that one. I don't know. Something about it. It's a special one. Chains is hanging out with us. Freddy versus Jason ended with a happy ending. Yeah, but that's a campy slasher. You know what I mean? I don't feel like that one's trying to scare you. That's fan service, the movie, in a good way though. Like I feel like it was good fan service because we actually found creative and unique ways to throw these two characters in the same universe. Again, it's camp. It's total camp. It's ridiculous. But is it fun? Is it a great time? Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Kevin Alexander saying, nice take, bro. I hope this movie isn't too overstuffed. I agree, Kevin. Thank you for the 5 again. Hope all side characters get proper time and are fun as Scream 96. Bring it home, Kevin. That's my biggest concern for this flick. It's one of the reasons why I don't think the murder mystery is going to work this time around, just like Scream 6. But again, I feel like if that's the only thing you're looking forward to with Scream, I almost feel like you're missing out on like the bigger picture, because there is so much more to Scream than just the murder mystery. Do I want that to work? Of course I do, but it's not going to me, honestly, it's not going to make or break the movie. If it has a great murder mystery and it just hits me over the head with some reveal I didn't see coming, hell yeah, rock on. You've already done something better than Scream 6 in those regards, if Scream 7 is able to do that. But there's so much to Scream. Like, that's my thing. If they do one of those things right, I'm probably gonna love it. Like, it won't be my favorite Scream sequel, but like, if they're able to execute at least one thing that I love about this franchise right, I'll take it. It can be a part of this franchise. We're happy with it. Even Scream 3, I feel, gets some things right. Especially with its horror commentary, and that to me is like easily the weakest sequel, but it still has some good things about it. So I feel that Scream 7, while it may fail in some regards, it's going to definitely pick up some slack in some other areas. Maybe some areas that Scream 6 was lacking on. You know what I mean? And that to me would be pretty cool, because it would make this one feel really fresh. Scream 6, I mean, it didn't really give a good... I don't feel like it gave a really good story to the legacy characters, which, if nothing else, I think Scream 7 is definitely going to do that. We're hearing that there's a ton of screen time for Nev and Gale, and that seems like something people are really kind of like hammering down for. You know what I mean? They're really just trying to hope and pray for something like that to happen in a Scream movie again, because it's been a long time. I mean, Scream 4, I feel like, was the last time we got a real substance storyline with the legacy folks. So I think we're going to get that here in Scream 7, and that's again going to make it feel like a breath of fresh air. So I as long as they're able to execute some things good and right, rock on. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. Davey Deathray is joining us. What's up, dude? How's it going, Davey? I'm joining Davey for a really fun stream coming up here sometime soon, by the way. So go over to Davey's page sometime in October, and we're going to be talking horror. It's going to be fun. Scream 7 is going to tie it back to the original. I'm taking a Halloween Kills style flashback that goes back to the night Marine was killed. I'm into it. I'm so into a flashback, man. Honestly, one of my favorite parts of Halloween Kills is the flashback. Like, that is done so well. that is done so well, in my opinion. David Gordon Green, he's a bit of a controversial figure, I feel, in horror now, after his last two outings that were kind of big misses with the horror crowd, if it was Halloween Ends or Exorcist Believer, big old stinky trash can movies. But dude, I love Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills. I really do. Kills is a campy, turn your brain off, have fun slasher, but goddamn, I'll take it. I mean, it is a good time. I really enjoyed it, especially after Halloween 2018, I feel was very exposition heavy. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, again, nothing wrong with that, but it did something a little different than the next. The only thing that I feel like really doesn't work for me about Kills, and I know someone's going to say the chant. I'm not even going to say it. You know what you already know what I'm going to say. I don't even have to say it. Someone's going to say it. But the only thing that really does not work for me about Halloween Kills is what they do with Laurie Strode. I would go so far as to say they should have just like cut her out of the movie. Her hanging out in the hospital the whole time. Why would you repeat the same mistake as Halloween 2? Why would we do this again? It doesn't make any sense. But literally besides that, I had a great time with it. Like, I'm like, this is so much fun. I put it on every October. It is the Michael Kills People movie. And if you like Michael Myers running around getting some of his craziest and arguably best kills, yeah, fucking love it, dude. But on top of that, the flashback is like spectacular. Listen, we've seen Disney do de-aging with a bunch of different Star Wars shows and movies or whatever, but it always just looks off. You know what I mean? Like, there's always something about it where it's like, something about this doesn't look right. I don't know what it is, but it's just off. That sequence in Halloween Kills is by far the best flashback I have seen in modern horror. I mean, it is spot on to the tone, the vibe. I mean, if I didn't know any better, and I saw that scene, I would have believed that it was a deleted ending from the original Halloween 78. I really would. I mean, it is that well done. Fuck. I love Halloween Kills. I don't care. I will die on that hill. It is a good movie. But I would hope they do something like that in Scream to the same quality, where they're able to create something that is just like recapturing the vibe of the original Scream movie with a nice flashback that shows us some things we didn't know about the Maureen Prescott murder, which again has never been put to the screen. We've heard so much about it. We've learned a lot about it across all 6 of these movies, but we've never seen it before. So what actually went down that night? You know, can we learn something from Scream 7 about it that changes the way we view this entire franchise? Davey, I'm down for it, dude. Thank you for being a member, my friend. I cannot wait to chat. Cannot wait to chat horror with you sometime, my friend. I love it. I think we're definitely in for a flashback, though. Unless they decide that Roman is alive, Dewey is alive, Stu is alive, Billy's alive. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, let's catch up in the chat here a little bit. Mr. Go Animator saying horror. You're talking to somebody else. Jake, your favorite actor and actress, if you ask me, it is Tobey Maguire and Millie Alcock. Okay, rock on, dude. Great choices. I love Tobey Maguire from Spider-Man. Grew up with him as he's always going to be my Spider-Man. You know, I grew up with him, so gotta love Tobey. My favorite actor, like I'm just trying to think of somebody who like anytime I see them in something, I'm down. I'm like, yes, if they're in it, I'll watch it. That guy for me is Keanu Reeves. I love Keanu Reeves with my whole heart. Like I would just fucking die. I would just die. I would die in his arms if he was here right now. I would literally just cry. I would do anything. I would literally do anything to meet him. I think he is phenomenal. I know everybody likes the John Wick movies now, but I truly love those films. Like I think they are so much fun. And they are perfectly hyped. No one's saying they're underrated. They're maybe even overrated, but I love them. I love all four of those movies so much, and I'll be watching them until the end of my days. But Keanu's one of those guys that like he's a little stiff, you know, but I think that just it adds something. He's an icon. It's the same thing I feel about Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know. He's a little rigid with his performances, but if he's on screen, you're rooting for that guy. It doesn't matter what role he's in. It's like, that's Arnold, baby. Let's go. I'm in it to win it with this guy. Same thing with Keanu for me personally. He's on screen, I'm locked in. I'm like, hell yeah, dude. Let's rock and roll. So he just makes everything he's in better. I love him so much. Favorite actress though? Man, that's really tough. I'm take it back to horror for a second here. Love Samara Weaving. That's another actress where I'm just like, if she's in it, I'm gonna watch it. There's this new movie she has coming out called Eenie Meenie. I think it's on Hulu right now. I have not had the time to watch it. I also canceled my Disney and Hulu subscription recently because fuck Disney, and fuck Bob Iger. But oh no, I think the stream's gonna get taken down in a second for me saying that, ladies and gentlemen. So if this is it, sayonara. But anyways, love Samara Weaving. Want to watch that movie when Disney, gets their shit together and they stop being a bunch of assholes. But I love Samara. She's amazing. And I think that everything she's in also just is phenomenal. She elevates everything with her performance. Loved the movie Azrael from last year. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Terrific film. My God, 10 out of 10. Loved that movie to death. That was another criminally underrated release from last year that didn't get enough love with her. So that was great. But yeah, no, Samara Weaving and Keanu Reeves. If I see them in something, I'm watching it. I can't say no. Julia Garner is a great choice, Davey Deathray. Oh my God, she's phenomenal too. Absolute great choice. Kevin Alexander throwing another $2 out there too. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate your support. You're saying Guy Busick as a solo writer hopefully is. Fingers crossed. So here's my thing about this. Conspiracy theory time. Put on your goddamn, your freaking goddamn hats. Put on your hats and your tinfoil hats. Guy Busick is a solo writer. So he's the only one being credited as a writer on this one, but story comes from James Vanderbilt and Guy Busick. So what's going on there? I really think that they had an original script that would have concluded the Carpenter sisters story before everything that happened with Melissa and Jenna. Don't think we're going to see those two in this one, which does bum me out for sure. Again, it's been a roller coaster covering this movie, but I think that what ended up happening is James dropped out. They kept some of his story elements from that original draft that featured the Carpenter sisters, and they reworked it into a Sydney story. And Guy Busick was the one to essentially do that. So that's my guess. He was the one who kind of came in to kind of rework it, rewrite it into a Sydney story. So we're probably going to see some of those elements that would have been present in the original script of Scream. What Scream 7 would have been before with the Carpenter sisters, with the Core 4, wherever that was going to take place. Some of those ideas probably are going to be recycled into here. And that's probably one of the biggest reasons why I'm actually worried about Scream 7 is like, what if these are elements that only really worked with those characters versus Sidney Prescott. You know what I mean? Like, will this still work as a return to form, or is this going to feel too modern? Are people getting their hopes up for a product that is simply going to be more of the same of what we got versus the return to form that they're essentially advertising? That's something I'm honestly kind of worried about, because I think Guy Busick has it in him to write like an old school Scream film. I really do. A lot of people give this guy shit, but like, dude, I love Ready or Not and Abigail have some excellent character work, like some genuine 10 out of 10 character work. I don't know, man. I love the character work in both of those films, and some stuff in Scream 6, admittedly. Scream 5, probably one of the weaker ones, but I love it. I don't know. I love what he's able to do with, especially original scripts. I feel like when he's working in a contained franchise, it's just a little tougher though. It's a tougher writing challenge. Especially something like Scream, which is so, it's not episodic at all. You know, it's a chronological franchise. One thing happens after the other. You're keeping the story going from years ago. So for me, I think that's what's up. I think that's what's happening here. And I think he's a solo writer this time around, but with ideas from the previous draft, whatever that ended up being. But Kevin, thank you for the $2. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. Davies putting all of his money on Kevin touching up that script, but leaving his name off of it. Why would he leave his name off of it though? Like, that's my thing. He's putting his name front and center, slapping it on this thing as a director. Why wouldn't he attach it as a writer too? You know, that's my question, because I've seen a lot of people say that, but like, my man Kevin here has very proudly put his name on a lot of these films in terms of writing. Why wouldn't he say writer director Kevin Williamson? You know, I think as a director though, you still have the ability to kind of, and it's Kevin, so it's like he's probably going to shift some things if that didn't feel right to him, kind of thing. But I don't know if he was actually, you know, sitting down in the room with Guy writing the script. That's my guess. I feel like he kind of jumped on as a director last minute because we didn't have Christopher. Christopher Landon dropped out. So that's my guess, at least. I hope, Davey, I hope you're right, because I think it would be cool to have a little bit of the Kevin Williamson touch. That dude knows how to write a chase scene, I'll tell you what. Would be nice, but I'm doubting it. I guess I'm doubting it because I feel like he might have wanted to just kind of be, you know, a creative asset to wherever the franchise goes next, and kind of work something, help out the new people working on it, essentially. That's the role he wants to play now with the franchise. He's told his stories in this universe. But then I think when Christopher Landon dropped out, they're like, well, we need a director, we need a movie. What do? He stepped up to the plate. That's my guess. Again, we're talking about this from afar. Who knows? But that could be the case. That's my thinking on it. No Walk 420 saying a proper send-off for Sydney, in my opinion, would be a gnarly, gruesome fight with her dying at the hands of Ghostface. Maybe her sacrificing herself for her daughter or something. That could be brutal. I don't know. I don't know how I would feel about that. I feel like I don't want Sydney to die. I feel like I would feel sad about that. But I also, at the same time, her to, you know, selflessly sacrifice herself. That feels like a Sydney move. So that's kind of cool. What is Wrestling God talking about? You guys just ruined a perfectly good story and ruined the whole idea of why Matthew decided to come back in the first place. All right, listen, buddy. I've been nice to you, my friend, but you come in here and you just get angry that I don't want Stu to be alive. So I'm gonna have to block you. I'm really sorry, dude. But I respect it. Like I've said it before, and I'm even wearing the shirt. I'm even wearing the shirt. I'm very respectful of all different theories and opinions. If you want Stu to come back, rock on. But you know, if you insult me and other people who are hanging out in the chat, well, that's just not really cool. We all have a difference of opinions on things, especially when it comes to movies. And I just ask you guys to respect that. That's all. So please be kind to one another. Come on, guys. We're just talking about movies. Look, if they bring Stu back to life, is my whole life ruined? Is this whole franchise destroyed? No. It's gonna be something that I'm sure is going to make a lot of people happy. So can we really be that upset about something that's going to make a lot of people happy? I don't think so. I don't want it to happen personally, but hey, let's have fun. Let's respect each other. Let's be nice. Let's be nice to one another. No Walk 420 is, I think I already read that. Never mind. Cruel ZV is saying, I keep saying this, but as much as I'm excited for Scream 7, I've never been so worried about a film in my entire life, since Scream is the pinnacle of my favorite franchises. I'm very worried too. No, I'm very much so with you. I also feel like going back to the characters of Sidney Prescott and Gale, all these people. We're trying to tell another story with these folks. I already look at something like Scream 4 as an extension, you know what I mean? Like an extension of the story that is arguably necessary. But because of how well executed it is, I kind of love it. You know what I mean? Like, that's my thing about it. That's why I'm really looking at this like, is this the right direction? You know what I mean? Is this going to be good, or is this going to be something that ruins the legacy of certain characters? That would really bum me out, dude. That would really suck if we're losing we're losing the respect that we have for these legacy characters. That would suck. I hope that's not the case. I really hope it isn't, because I hope they're not just bringing Sydney back because they didn't have the Carpenter sisters. They didn't have anybody else. I'm worried that Sydney's story is already told. And that when they bring her back for this one, it's just for the fact that we need another lead and we don't want to just introduce a new character again, because we kind of just did that in 2022, right? I'm hoping that this is a story that is worth our time, that is something that is like really going to add to, Sidney Prescott as a character. I would hate for this to be something that's just not that at all. You know what I mean? We're just watching Sydney fight another Ghostface. Like, I don't want to see that. I want to see like what's so great about those other stories. I want to see her go through a different chapter of her life, and hopefully they've done that. Hopefully they made that happen here. Eric Zagranis, what's up? Thank you for the 5 again, my friend. You're just killing it. Thank you for the support tonight. I still think it will be revealed that Stu is the one who killed Dewey in 5 with Amber and Richie as pawns. So you think there's another mastermind, essentially? Like there's another Roman Bridger hanging out. I just like my thing is I just don't feel like Stu is that guy. Like if we're talking about Billy, like if you said like Billy's still alive, and he's the one running the show from behind the scenes somehow, some way, like I could maybe get into that, looking past the logistical things about it. Like he did get shot in the face, but if he didn't, you know what I mean? If there was a way, some way, shape or form that Billy could still be alive. And you told me like he was the one running the show, I could get behind something about like that, because that was like part of his character in that original flick. He was in charge of that whole operation. Stu was just he was just the goofy sidekick. You know what I mean? I love Stu and he's a great character, but I don't see him like leading a cult of ghost faces. That's a hard sell for me. Based on what we know about what little we know about the character, I should say. I love Stu. I think he's a great character, and I'm excited to see him return in some way here in Scream 7. But I don't know if he's like still alive out in the shadows, still lurking, trying to kill people, But I don't know. What do I know? Maybe I'm totally wrong. We'll see. We'll see, Eric. Anything's possible. We have all kinds of characters popping up in this new movie. No idea what's going to happen. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's not too long now. I mean, truly, almost only 5 months. When is the 27th? Well, I don't even remember. It's this Saturday. This Saturday, it will be 5 months, ladies and gentlemen. That's exciting. So I'm really excited to get to that. Eric, thank you for the 5, though. Appreciate that. Thank you for the support. What else is going on? No Walk is saying, I just watched Scream 4 again last night, and you're right. The execution of the film is nearly flawless. Definitely my fave sequel. I think it's great. It's everything I could want from a Scream sequel. It's got a great reveal. It's got some great kills. I think it's got some pretty good characters too, man. The new folks and the people coming back from the past, all great. I love Kirby and Jill especially. I think they're big standout characters from this entire franchise. And that's why I love I love the legacy characters too. But to me, whenever people are like, I don't care about new characters in this franchise. I don't think they're ever going to, compare to some of the older folks. Well, what about Kirby? I feel like Kirby and Jill, if they were to come back for multiple movies and we actually fleshed out storylines with them, I feel like they could have been that good. Absolutely. I totally feel like we could have done something with that. And allegedly the original plan for 4 was to do a whole trilogy that would have followed Jill getting away with murder, and going to college somewhere where another ghost face pops up and saying they know her secret. She was going to get away with it. There was going to be a kind of a cliffhanger. And that's so interesting. I would have loved to have seen that play out personally. I think she's a good enough, not only actress, but character to make something like that work. That would have been totally unexpected. It was totally, the reveal was totally unexpected, but then to take it that way for what would have been the original Scream 5, that's crazy. I love it. That's nuts to me. Davey saying Stu didn't even know Billy's true motive. You can tell by the look on his face that he had no idea Maureen was sleeping with Billy's father. Stu he's just hanging. He was just forced to do this. He was just peer pressured into doing this because he felt like it. He got pushed too far to make it happen. I just the peer pressure line from him in the original, if we really analyze his character, he's not very much so a leader. But he is evil. You know what I mean? I see the evil side of him. I agree. I don't necessarily agree with him like being in charge of a whole operation. I don't know. I feel like he's the goofy side character, and that's what I love about him. And I don't know if I would want to see him playing a different role than that. Like that's another thing. Like I feel like he works so well there. I don't know. I don't. It's hard for me to imagine Stu in a more leadership position based on where he came from. My Chunky Jordy, thank you for the buck. Really appreciate that a ton. Thank you for the support, Gina. Thank you. Josh is saying I could see Stu being a leader. Yeah, he was goofy, but he was in high school and could have just matured over the years and manipulated Amber. But hang on. He's not like living life outside of his house. You know what I mean? Like where did he have time to mature? What kind of father figure did he have in his life? You know what I mean? What kind of upbringing did he have if he was in isolation the whole time? I don't really feel like that lends itself to leadership, having leadership capabilities that he would need in order to run some sort of operation like that. I feel like there needs to be cause and effect for things. You know what I mean? For a good story to work. And I don't see it. I don't see it with Stu. It would be a lot of it would be the somehow Palpatine returned of the Scream franchise. You know what I mean? It's just like, we need a bad guy for this. Let's take one of the most popular from the original. You know what I mean? I don't see it. I love Stu. He's a great character. I mean, genuinely, from his one performance in the original film, I would go so far as to say he's one of the best characters in the entire franchise. Easy top 10. But I don't see him leading a cult. It's tough. It's tough to see that one. But I honestly believe that I could get behind him being alive. It's just, I think where the theory really loses me is when, people are saying he's in charge of all the ghost faces we've seen. That's what, him being a mastermind is what loses me. Like, okay, you could argue he's been alive this whole time, whatever, but he'd have to slip into a different role. He'd have to have some sort of other thing going on. What else is going on? Kevin is saying, I feel like Scream 7 might be a Scream 4 2.0, but with Sydney more at the helm of the story. Hopefully, felt like Sydney was more muted in 4. 4 was about Sydney, though. I mean, 4 was about Sydney and Jill's relationship, and that might not have been entirely clear until the end, but I think it definitely was more so about that over anything. I said recently in a video that, 4 is kind of about the undoing of Scream 3. You know what I mean? Scream 3 essentially being the closure to Sydney's story. She's gotten past the trauma. She's taken out the last demon. And now she's able to, kind of have her peace. 4 is the undoing of that. You know what I mean? It's a betrayal from someone within her own family for a totally different motivation and reason. That to me is what I love so much about 4. Because I feel like it does do a lot for the character of Sydney while also showcasing this whole new side to her family that was previously unknown, something that Scream loves to do. That kind of storyline is not for me necessarily, but I do really like when they're able to do something so campy like that, and it still works, and it's still so effective. Because I'll tell you what, even though Scream 4 does have that campy edge to it, what it does do right, and Davey Deathray's hitting on it, it does right so well that it's ahead of its time. I mean, my God, it's literally about internet fame, like not before that was the thing, but it was just hitting on such a very relevant topic that has only become more and more relevant as time has gone on. So Scream 4 to me is so ahead of its time. I love it. I think it's an excellent motive. I think it's one of the best. I think it is the best sequel because it has the best killer and best motive of the sequels. That's my thing about it. The killer can make or break a Scream movie, though. I will say that. It all depends. Everything in One is saying, hey, Jake, I have never seen any Scream movies. Can you believe it? It's all good. But what is a good part to start with? Scream is chronological. So I would just start with the first one, man. Like I would just start with 1 and then go from there. If you like 1, watch 2. I think the other thing that's interesting about Scream as well is that The first is like undisputed the best one. Like I love the sequels; they're a lot of fun, but like nothing touches the original. So definitely that is 100% the place to start is the first movie. There's a lot of cool things that happen in the sequel. There's like elements to the sequels that I think maybe they find ways to almost compete with the original, but I don't think there's as a whole any of the sequels top that first movie. So I would totally start with the first one and then go from there. And then see if you liked that one, go and watch 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got a lot of catching up to do because you got 7 coming up here in February. So if you want to get caught up, man, it's going to be fun. Kaylin is saying, I wouldn't mind if we find out that it was someone else who killed Dewey as long as it's not Stu, not for him still being alive. A lot of people wanted to be, I think a lot of people wanted to be someone personal that killed Dewey, like opposed to Amber. And I always think that's funny. Like everyone wants that to be a little more of a personal stake. I think it's kind of like to me it makes Amber more evil that like she was just this random new Ghostface up and comer that took out a legacy character like that. Like that's fucked up. I kind of dig it because it makes the Ghostfaces like, as she literally says, it makes that film not only have stakes, but it gives some weight in the corner of Amber, as being one of the better Ghostfaces, considering who she was able to take down. I think that, I don't know. I think that that's interesting to me. I don't think it needs to be personal. I kind of vibe with it being one of the new ghost faces just being just getting lucky essentially. Because I mean Dewey had her, dude. Dewey had that all figured out if it wasn't for his phone buzzing, and that's another thing. I hear people get upset about that, but it's like that's such a Dewey move, dude. Go back and watch the original Scream again. Like Dewey's, I love him, but he's a big idiot. You know what I mean? We love him, but he's a little dumb. He's not he's not 100% the smart. His heart is definitely bigger than his brain kind of guy. So of course he would look at his phone before he was going to go and shoot the killer. It works for me. Or if it was any other character, I might have some problem with it. But because it's Dewey, it's like, yeah, of course he's going to look at his phone. Goofball. I love him. I love old Dewdrop. Great character. He's my favorite character. He's my absolute favorite Scream character these days. Cruel ZV is saying that Jill is top 5 for making it past the third act. Rock on. Love it. Love it. Love it. I totally agree. Gillette Powers is saying, I hope Scream doesn't have a party scene because whoever has the party is always the killer. Ooh. That's a good point. I never thought of that. Yeah, I hope it doesn't. I hope it doesn't either. I want this to be just a totally different kind of Scream. Scream 5, it's trying to emulate the original and pay homage to Mr. Craven and all that. But I feel like we're past that. Like, not that we shouldn't respect Wes Craven's legacy. I'm not trying to say that. I feel like we're past the point of this franchise where we need to look back to nostalgic moments and be like, you guys remember that? You guys remember this thing, that member berries? You know what I mean? We've done that in 2 movies in a row. Not that nostalgia isn't a good thing. I think it can absolutely work, but we're losing creativity with it. That's my big problem with the nostalgia in this franchise and most franchises these days is they all do it the exact same way. I keep wanting to drink this, but I'm like mid conversation, so I don't. Give me like 2 seconds. Okay, sorry. I guess that's my problem with a lot of franchises, and it's slowly becoming a problem with Scream, is I just think they're doing nostalgia all in the same ways. They're just showing us a million fucking Easter eggs in a movie, and they're calling that a plot. They're calling that a whole new story, and it's not. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, Easter eggs are great and all. You can, when you get a script done and you're in production and yeah, let's get this thing on in the background of a shot. Cool. Like, that's fun, but like, I need more than the Ghostface shrine. You know what I mean? If you're going to do a new sequel in an established franchise that has a lot of fans, give them something to chew on, give people something new to bite into and dissect. I mean, we talk about the ghost faces a lot in Screams 1 through 5. You know what ghost faces we don't talk about that much? The Scream 6 ghost faces, because there's not much to talk about there. They're the, Nancy Loomis. It's the same thing. It's the same thing as angry father instead of angry mother. It's the same exact character to talk about. So I think that's kind of my big thing is like the ghost face. It's sad that the ghost faces that are more interesting in Scream 6 are the ones that get killed off in the opening scene rather than the ones that get revealed at the end. So it's a tough thing. It's a tough and weird situation there. Gina's throwing another buck out there, getting us to 8 out of 10 on the super chat goals. We got 3 more minutes to make that happen. Let's see it, baby. Thank you so much for the support. Really do appreciate that. Davey saying the Scream 6 reveal is rough. I just mean the film series. Oh, you're talking to somebody else. I got you. Yeah, I was just, the moment that you, and I make this joke in videos all the time, but when the moment you have Wayne, Detective Bailey, come out and say, "You fuck with my family, you die." It's just like, of course he's the killer. What? Like, why is Melissa Barrera's reaction to that like, hell yeah, or whatever she says there? She's like, right on. I can't remember what it is, but dog, if I saw somebody say that, I'm like, hey, we're just going to go over here for a second. We're going to make some phone calls. Don't worry. You stay over. No, you stay over here. No, Wayne, you got a whole thing going on here. It's all good. I'm just going to talk with my sister for a second. You know what I mean? Like, dog, if someone's saying that shit to me, no way. They're the killer. So I that's a big problem I've had with murder mysteries lately, is that since Scream 6 has come out, I feel like all these movies have dropped where whoever the killer is gives some really stupid line in the movie and basically just gives the whole operation away. If it's Clown in a Cornfield, where like pretty much everyone in that flick repeats the same line, and it's like, oh, they're doing a Murder on the Orient Express twist. That was also in Hot Fuzz. That was also in Clown in a Cornfield. It's like, dog, so many movies have done this twist. That's not a good twist. What do you mean? What do you mean we're doing that twist? If it's Hard Eyes, where one of the killers is so criminally obvious from another single line of dialogue, I don't know. These murder mysteries lately have just been doing that. I Know What You Did Last Summer is the worst. Oh my God, one of the worst. When Gabriette says you, it's like, who's the only 2 characters she knows about in this new situation? And we already know it's not one of them. I don't know. It's so frustrating to me. I'm getting off my soapbox now. I'm sorry. Angry Jake is going to chill the fuck out now. But murder mystery, the last thing it should be is predictable. Don't give me the twist before it happens. Come on now. Come on now. I got to, that's a video I might do on here at some point, talking about murder mystery twists and reveals and fun stuff. I might have to make that happen on here. Just talking about all the ones that we've gotten recently. Just breaking all those down. That might be a fun little video essay. Davey's saying, I'll never understand why these characters go full 94 Jim Carrey once they've been outed themselves as the bad guy. You'd think people would start noticing a pattern, right? I do think it's funny. It is, it's a little over the top sometimes. Kaylin is saying that Scream 6 reveal, I still don't understand why Sam thought the other killer was Mindy. That always bothered me. Yes, I totally agree. Like, what? Of all the characters, Mindy? You think it's her? I don't know. Yeah, I agree. I also thought that was kind of weird. Davey's saying not a soapbox as a smart audience member. You naturally want better from the artists. And like, Davey, it's not like I don't, like, I get fooled by murder mystery twists all the time. Dude, Thanksgiving had me in a fucking chokehold. They did such a good job with their red herrings that I just was like, I was so obsessed with it. I'm like, it's one of the boyfriends. They keep fighting. What's going on with that? And I'm like, oh my God, it got me. Thanksgiving totally floored me. I was like, I did not see that coming at all. So that was all. Thanksgiving, 10 out of 10. Loved it. Maybe not 10 out of 10, but it was really good. I loved Thanksgiving. Very good slasher. Really fun stuff going on there. And it had a really good twist too, on top of some gnarly kills and just some fun, crazy, dark humor. I couldn't get enough of it. I thought it was great. So I absolutely loved that film big time. Same thing with Bodies, which I feel like I'm in the minority there, but the twist rocked with that film. I Know What You Did Last Summer, 2025, wanted to be that movie so bad. So bad. And I think the difference between those two flicks is in one corner, you have these characters who are very clearly unlikable, and the joke is that they're unlikable and shitty, and the whole movie's twist revolves around that. Versus I Know What You Did Last Summer, where you're supposed to enjoy watching these shitty, not fun characters just fight and be shitty to each other the entire time. It doesn't make any sense. I can imagine that the people in charge creatively of that flick watched Bodies and didn't get it. And that to me, that's crazy to me. I don't know. I love that flick though. I think it's got a great twist. Another one that melted my face and just kind of made me laugh. But I loved it. It was awesome. Very fun stuff there. Why does Ghostface not use a gun? The Keys are American films. They take place in America. Like if they were British, I get it. But like this is the last place in the United States. But at least this takes place in the United States. I mean, we did see him use a shotgun in the last one, but I guess he primarily uses a knife. I think it's more fun that way. I think it's honestly more fun that if he's using a knife versus a gun, because I think it would be over a lot quicker otherwise. Slasher films, I feel like it's arguable if slashers should be using guns or not. It's something that the first time I watched Terrifier, I was like very on the fence about it. I'm like, I don't know if that works for me or not. I feel like that might be a misstep. And I think the biggest thing with that is like it's just not as it's over much quicker. You know what I mean? It's not as fun when you don't have the slasher coming after you with a tool or something. So I don't know. I feel like it's not a slasher anymore if they're just using guns the whole time. Clover Animation is saying, Jake, hear me out, a Radio Silence directed Batman film. Batman film? Okay, I could get into it. I'm just too excited to see what is going on with the new Matt Reeves flick. I'm really excited for that. Cannot wait for that movie. Very hyped. Gina was just saying something was wrong with the super chats. Is that what's up? I'm gonna super chat myself. I'm gonna see what happens. Sure. Why not? I hate this. I have to update my information. I don't have anything updated on here. Huh, weird. I don't know. If something's wrong, that's not good. Brutal. Josh999 is saying a slasher running after you with a gun is less intimidating. Yeah, it's not as fun, right? I think it's also more like, well, that's arguable, but I feel like you can get more creative kills when it's someone running after you with a knife versus a gun. But arguable on that, I think for sure. What else is going on here? Davey's saying there are guns in Scream 2. Guns just don't fit slasher antagonists. It's got to feel more personal and less run-of-the-mill. And the Joker says it best. You just made me think of that line from the Joker in The Dark Knight, where he says, like, I kill people with knives. It's more personal. You know what I'm like? He's right. Like that guy's crazy, but he is right about that. There's something about that that's a little more personal in that. I think it gives more weight, and especially in a series like Scream where characters are so developed and get a little more fleshed out than the typical slasher. I think it hits a little harder. So I kind of vibe with that. But it's an interesting point, because it's like, wouldn't it be more effective to use a weapon like that? I totally get the logistical elements to it, but I also feel like not we can't judge movies entirely on logic. I feel like movies wouldn't be as fun if they made sense entirely. That's my big rule when it comes to a movie, is that if I wasn't thinking, hey, this is wrong during the runtime of watching a movie, then I can't really judge it on that. I'm not somebody out here watching something like Cinema Sins where that guy's just gonna study a movie and see everything that's wrong with it. That's no fun. You're just sucking all the fun out of movies. I mean, think about the movie Weapons that just came out. I won't spoil it, but if you want to talk about logistical plot holes, there's a million in that movie, and yet I'm still out here calling it a horror classic. Not everything has to make sense to be perfect. All that really matters is, like, is your audience thinking about it? Is your audience bothered by this, that it doesn't work that well? You know what I mean? Can they get past it? The rule of cool is so important, I feel, when it comes to movies. If something is cool, if something is just like, this is so awesome, I don't even care, then logic doesn't fucking matter. That's my thoughts on it. Can you tell a story that is done well? Can you tell a story that is just like, this is going to elicit an emotion out of your audience? That's what matters more than logic when it comes to movies. Clover is saying, are you also scared for Scream 7 cinematography, since Williamson is not a trained director? I mean, cinematography wise, he's got a really good dude on that project. He had is it Ramsey Nichol, I believe is his name, who shot this one, who also shot a bunch of stuff for Kevin Williamson's other like TV shows and whatnot. Dude's done a lot of different projects. So I'm not worried about the cinematography at all. If I'm worried about anything, I'm worried more so about just his direction, like just general direction. It's a different medium of being creative than writing. You know what I mean? And I've talked about it before, but writing things to a page versus trying to elicit a certain. It kind of comes back to what we were just talking about, logic versus emotion. Directors, I feel more so are pulling a certain kind of emotion out of a character to get a point across, and you gotta. That's what's tough. That to me is what's going to be tough about this. Can Kevin effectively do that? It's not about writing on the page like what you want to see here. It's more so about making that happen in the most vivid way that you can, or the tone, trying to strike the tone that you're going for on screen. Can you get that out of actors? Can you? And also, you're the director. You're the lead of the project. You're the person that literally everybody else on set looks up to. How are you running the set? I'm sure he did a great job. It's not that I think, oh God, it must be terrible. Not at all. It's a position that does take some time to really get up to. It's a tough thing to transition to, in terms of, what you can do in the movie space. It's not easy. It's not an easy thing to literally run a set. It's not an easy job. That's why it's like one of the biggest names, when we're talking about movies and I start geeking out about who the director is, there's a reason for that. You know what I mean? A director kind of commands pretty much everything that happens for a film in one way, shape, or form if they're doing their job right. And it's an interesting thing. It's always an interesting thing to see. So some people have strengths and weaknesses everywhere. I think even the best directors out there have weaknesses. You know what I mean? So we just don't really know what that looks like so much from Kevin. I still have never seen Teaching Miss Tingle. So I don't know, but he has a lot of experience, writing and working around directors and other people who have, tackled his projects. So I don't think he's going to be like I don't think he was totally useless out there. You know what I mean? Like, no, he probably had some chops, had some things figured out by all means. But I think somebody like, Christopher Landon, for instance, who has been at the helm of so many different projects, is used to that position, might be a little more of a veteran, a little more commanding there. Even though Kevin Williamson, in a lot of, this is such a weird conversation because Kevin is almost like an influence to Chris, but Chris has more experience in that position, if that makes sense. So I guess it's a tough thing to talk about, but we'll see. We'll see what's up. I hope you rocked it out of the park, man, because I really do love Kevin's writing. Kevin, I still think, is the master of chase scenes. In pretty much every project he's worked on, I think there's at least one pretty fucking excellent chase scene, at least in the horror field. You know what I mean? In terms of, even like Sick, a movie that I was baffled by how just bad. I didn't like Sick. I'm not a fan. A lot of people really like it. I hated it. I was very frustrated the entire time. But if there's still an excellent chase scene in that movie, that in my opinion, better chase scene than anything we got in 5 and 6, which is crazy. It's kind of crazy for me to see. Like, I'm like, I can't believe that works so well despite me hating these characters. They still found a way to build tension around characters that I strongly disliked, which I thought was awesome. Jab is hanging out with us. Greetings from Columbus, Ohio. What's up, JAB? How are you doing? Hanging out in Columbus. What's going on in Columbus tonight on a Monday night? How's it hanging on High Street? Yeah, I've been to Columbus before. I'm cool like that. Nick Wright is saying, can't wait for Scream 7 to flop. Damn, brutal, dude. With that much star power, if it flopped, I'd be unbelievably shocked. There's a lot of hype for this movie, and there's a lot of big names in it too. I think from that alone, this one's going to make some money. But we'll see. We'll see what's up. Devontae Arnold is saying, I hope Kirby does come back. Maybe her and Sydney can be a badass duo together, taking down Ghostfaces. That could be sick. That could be a lot of fun. I'd be into it. Would love to see Kirby back in some way, shape, or form. Not sure if that's going to happen or not. We've been very on the fence about all that. But I hope she's back. Hope she's running around doing something. Because it would be nice to keep that consistent from the last film. Again, these movies are chronological. If we're going to go from Kirby saying she takes a special interest in Ghostface cases and then not show up for the next Ghostface case, I'd be scratching my head a little bit. So not sure what's up with that. Eli Cortez is hanging out with us. What's up, Eli? Welcome in. Thanks for being here. Davey Deathray is saying Scream 7 would have to be terrible, word of mouth to flop. I agree. There's so much hype for this one. It's weird when we get 6 months before a Scream film. You can pretty much do anything with talking about Scream, and like people are going to be there talking with you. They're going to be, what, starting to theorize what's going on. It's a new Scream movie. You know what I mean? If it's the same thing as if like a new Halloween flick was coming out, if a new Texas Chainsaw was coming out, a new Nightmare on Elm Street, new Friday the 13th. It's one of those big names that's always going to draw a crowd and has diehard fans. So even if this movie is dog water, it's probably going to make money. It's probably going to be something somewhat substantial at the box office. I'm actually predicting that despite the quality, it makes more money than the last two flicks. That's my guess. I think it could actually pull like maybe like 180 million, little over that. Clover is saying, controversy aside, Melissa will come back. Come on now. She was treated horribly, but someone will end up fighting for her return. I know, but she keeps talking shit about Spyglass and all that, man. I don't know. I think it would have to, what it would have to take is, basically a switch up of the rights, which if I was Spyglass Media, I would not. I would hold on to those with dear life. That is one of their flagship series right now. And it's not that their other stuff is doing bad, but I mean, compare the box office numbers of something like Thanksgiving or Hard Eyes to the last two Scream films. I mean, Scream 6 made more money than Thanksgiving and Hard Eyes combined. Like, just put that into perspective. You know what I mean? Like, they're very similar flicks that draw a similar audience, but it's because you have the name Scream in there that people are going to show up for those flicks. And it's not entirely a guarantee that even though Hard Eyes and Thanksgiving are very similar flicks, that people are going to show up for those. So, that's why I just like that. That's why it makes a lot of sense for me that just Scream is going to make money. It has people who are going to show up no matter what. MG Donor is saying if there is Scream 8, I wish Nev comes back again. Well, hey, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what they set up in 7. You know, I think to me it all depends on that, what this next chapter is going to be. I do feel that Nev needs I feel like Sydney needs her story to close at some point, and I don't want it to become like a Laurie Strode situation where we're just watching this character keep coming back and we're just wondering why she's there in the first place, because I got to that point. I'm at that point with Laurie Strode, and I think that sucks because I think she's iconic. I think in a lot of ways she is kind of like our first real final girl. You know, no shade, no diss towards Jess Bradford here. But in a lot of ways, I feel like she's kind of like our first real final girl character that gets a lot of recognition. I'm at the point now where I feel like they just cannot tell a good Laurie Strode story. Like they just cannot figure out how to do it. And it always bums me out. They've just never been able to make it happen. And I'm just like, I'm at the point where I'm like, we got to just let that character go and move on to something else with Halloween, you know? And I would hate to see that happen with Nev Campbell as Sidney Prescott, who, as it stands right now, I don't know what Scream 7 is going to do with the character, but as it stands now, I feel has the very best arc for a final girl ever. Like, I think it's bar none my favorite, bar none my favorite one. And I would hate for that to be ruined by just a new flick where it's like, well, you know, if she comes back, it'll put butts in seats. That would bum me out. The Chill Killer is saying, I hope Stu comes back and I want him to still be goofy, but I kind of want to be like the goofy and the way William Afton was, the last joking about more playing with your less joking, more playing with your food kind of thing. So like sardonic kind of vibes. Like it has like evil and kind of sarcastic at the same time. I mean, I see that with William Afton because that's the kind of character they set up there. But with Stu, that's just not that character. I don't know. I mean, Stu's like evil and, you know, fucked up. There's a lot of really nice subtle clues that Stu's not a good guy in that flick too, if we really analyze the character. He's subtly misogynistic to his girlfriend. He's constantly getting in people's faces about shit. Almost bullying Randy in the video store, you know? Like, what's up with that? Why why would he do that if he's not the killer? So there's clues, but he's a beta, as the kids would say. He's following orders from an alpha kind of vibe. That's my thing about him. I don't feel he's very self-confident. And I think 30 years in isolation wouldn't really help with that. Davey's saying, picture this, Stu is in a hospital, but a couple of podcasters visit him with the Ghostface mask and ask him to say something. Oh my God. Davey, I'm going to have a heart attack thinking about that. I'm gonna have a heart attack right now. What are you talking about? Any confirmation about the Lethal Collective being on or not? I do not know. I actually do not know if that's happening. I'm curious if it's still up on Knight's page, because it's a good question. I know that both Tyler and Craven had to cancel tonight. It's still up. Dude still got it up. I'm gonna trust Knight that we're gonna be live in 2 hours, but we'll see. We'll see what's up. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. I hope that we do it though, because it would be fun. I love talking with the Night Watch Zone. Very, very good dude. He's coming on the page this Thursday, by the way. So if we don't go live tonight, it'll still be happening. No worries. Knight and I will still be talking horror this week. It's still gonna happen. That's happening this Thursday, by the way. But yeah, very good stuff. Very good stuff. One last chat here. We got Clover saying, "I'm calling it. Daughter is the killer, or she just dies. I don't know." We'll just have to see. It would be brutal. What a betrayal. Davey's also saying they're gonna have to call me up off the bench. Oh my God. Well, hey guys, so much love to you all. A ton. Really do appreciate you guys for stopping by. Thank you for everyone who sent in some support during the stream. By the way, really appreciate that a ton. Definitely check out some new videos going up this week. I'm hoping to have some sort of Terrifier update this week. I really want to make that happen if I can. That and a Strangers review is going up on Friday, so I know at least two videos are happening this week. I can tell you that much. Also, if you are interested in watching video essays, deep dives, these kind of videos that are I'm literally never going to cover Scream, Terrifier, Final Destination. Sorry, that's going to be this page. But if you want to see me talk about other horror flicks, if you're just general horror fan, you want to see Jake cover more topics like that, go over to KillJoy Jake Retro. We have a brand new video going up on October 3rd, same day as VHS Halloween, to cover VHS 94, one of my favorite films from the last 10 years, and I'm really excited to do a big video on it. You might see some familiar faces in that one too. That's all I'm going to say. So a lot of work is going into that one, so if that's the kind of content you're interested in, go over to that page and check it out. It's going to be very diverse, much more diverse than this channel in terms of topic and videos that we're doing over there. So go check it out. It's going to be a fun time. Guys, thank you so much for the support. Really appreciate you all a ton. And as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all. Peace out.